right, so today we're going to do EQ2. I can solve literal equations for any given variable. So what's going to happen is you're going to be given the variable you have to solve for. So in this case, I want to solve for m, which means I need to use my algebra skills and get everything to the other side. So you're still going to have your line. So the first thing I would move is I would plus 3n. And now those are not like terms. So you would have 4m equals 3n plus 8. And the order does not matter on this. You could have written 8 plus 3n. It doesn't matter which one comes first. Okay, but you can't combine them because they both don't have n's. So now the next step, you're going to see, this is going to carry over to things we do in the future. I need to divide by 4. So just so we don't make any mistakes, I would divide each thing by 4. It's going to make a difference as we move along. So your answer would be 3/4 n plus 2. So that would be the answer to that equation. M equals 3/4 n plus 2. And so that's solving a literal equation. Okay, on the next one, I'm solving for x. And so my x is out in front there. And so I'm multiplying that x, right? And so what's the opposite operation of multiplication is going to be dividing. Okay, so that means that I have 28 divided by r plus 4, and that equals, so those would cancel, and that would equal x. So that's my answer. X equals 28 over r plus 4. Okay, on the next one, I'm solving for k, which is up here. So k, the entire side is being divided by 5. So I'm going to take and I'm going to multiply, put my line down, sorry, multiply by 5, because then these 5s would cancel, and I have k minus 2 equals 55x. Okay, and you're solving for k, so I'm going to use that highlighter. That's what I want to try to get by itself, so I'm going to move the 2. Now this is the part that kids are going to mess up on, is you're moving the 2, but it's 55x plus 2. The like terms, you would just write 55x plus 2. You can't combine them because they both don't have x's. Okay, so for the next one, they want me to solve for y. So I'm going to solve for y, which means I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to minus 3x. Now, if I could minus 3x from here, the problem is that's not an x, that's an xr. So you're going to end up having, and it doesn't matter the order, minus 3r plus xr plus 5. So you can't put any of those together. That's a 3x. I don't know why I put r, but I don't want to start over, right? That's a 3x. So that's multiplying by a negative 2. So the opposite operation of multiplication is dividing. So I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to get y equals, and a negative divide by negative. So this is going to be 3/2 x. And then a negative divided by into a positive would be a minus xr over 2. And I'm okay if you leave it as a plus and leave the minus sign down below. But I'm just looking at signs, and it would be minus 5/2. So you might choose to leave it like this, the green highlight. You could still leave it as a plus and then divide by the negative, as long as one of those signs is negative. I just always move it to the top, but you do not have to. Okay, so on example 5, we are solving for y. So I'm going to highlight y. So then I'm going to draw my line down. I'm going to minus 3x and minus 3x. So I get a negative 4y equals a negative 3x plus 8. And like I said, I do not care if you write it as 8 minus 3x. It does not matter. Okay, so then it's multiplying by a negative 4. So I'm going to divide everything by a negative 4. And so then a negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive 3/4 x minus 2. And we're going to want to divide it like that because we're going to take this and we're going to graph it in the next couple of weeks. And so it's important that we get it isolated so that it's a negative divided by a negative becomes a positive. Okay. Then I have this one. Now, here's my thing. My y is right here, but I have fractions. And fractions are difficult. So I I personally, especially in Algebra 1, if you look at, I'm just going to use a different color. If you look at the denominators, I have a 2 and I have a 3. So the LCM between 2 and 3 is 6. And so can't I multiply every single thing by 6? It's legal as long as I do it to everything. And by doing that, I'm going to get rid of my fractions. What's half of 6? So I'm going to multiply that. Half of 6 is 3x. And then if I look at this, if I do 2/3 of 6, that would be 12 divided by 3. So that would be 4y equals 48. Look at that instead of looking at the fractions. I think it's easier to deal with. And so now we're solving for y, which is right there. And so mathematically, I'm going to minus the 3x and minus the 3x. Those are not like terms. So I always write my x first, but it is not wrong if you write it second. I do not care. And then that's being multiplied by 4. So I'm going to divide everything by 4. And I get y equals negative 3/4 x plus 12. And so that is my answer. Oops, better undo that because you can't see. Negative 3/4 x plus 12. So this is what we're doing. There is a worksheet, or you can choose to do the worksheet, or you can choose to do Delta Math. But I've been sending you the worksheets just because I know you didn't necessarily get on Delta Math before you left. But that's what that means when you see it on there. Delta Math, I'll show you when you get back, and you can start to choose to do that instead. That is fine. But if you've used Delta Math before and you would rather do that, it's online. And you just go to Delta Math and you just do the assignment that's online. And this one would be called EQ2. And so if you want me to send you the directions for Delta Math, I would be happy to do that. We could get you on there and you could do this assignment online instead of doing it on paper. That might be easier for you. But that's up to you. You let me know.